Okay, tutorial time for all you guys wanting tutorials. I'm going to show you how to fix dents in the NES console. You didn't think there was dents in the NES console? Well, there is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dents. And the dents are caused by these studs, the screw, where the screw goes. They put the stud in and it makes a dent, and I'll show you. All you're going to need is, first off, is I'm just going to use this cheap black spray paint. Doesn't matter what kind. I'm just going to mist a coat on here. You don't really have to shake it up, but just like this. So you can see. I'm going to put it over the whole thing because I'm going to sand the whole thing anyway later. Let that dry just a second. It's just a mist coat. That's all that is. Make sure you can see. I'm going to take my DA sander. DA stands for dual action sander. It's got 120 grit on it. It's pretty rough because we're going to have to get these dents out. You're going to use rough sandpaper, but it's probably dry enough already. I'm inside today because it's cold outside, so the air compressor is going to cut on. It's going to be pretty loud. Alright, here we go. Let's start with this one. Now, if you can see, let me get the camera. You can see where the black paint is staying. That's where the dent is. Since the DA sander is flat, it's not going to get in there. You know, you're going to have to keep sanding until it's flat and smooth, and that's how you know when the dent is out. So the black is just a guide coat. That one's not as bad, but some are worse than others. That one's, you know, you can see that one pretty good. But yeah, the black is where the dent is, so I'm just going to keep sanding until that comes all the way out. I think I forgot to turn the air compressor on. Oh, where's my Nintendo? Okay, we're back with full air pressure. So, let's continue. was pretty bad. It's probably one of the worst I've ever seen. But anyway, you can see it's flat now. There's no black. It took a minute, but it's gone. And I did that one. That one's gone. I'll continue to do the rest, and after I get the dents out, I'll go back over the whole, or go back over these parts with 220 grit sandpaper, and then go over the whole thing with 500 grit sandpaper, and then it will be ready to paint. And that's how you fix dents on the NES. Alright, we got the dents out, but now we have these huge ugly chips on the side, which this is common on the NES if you've ever been through consoles like I have. A lot of them have chips on the corners, but there is a way to fix it. I'm going to show you how to fix this chip. This is, I would say this is kind of advanced, but the first thing you're going to have to do, I got just a little piece of 80 grit dry sandpaper. I'm going to sand around this, because if you don't scuff this up, I'm going to be using automotive body filler, the same thing they fix dents on cars with. And if you don't scratch this up really good with this 80 grit sandpaper, the body filler is not going to stick. It's just going to fall off. So you have to sand this really good. And you have to sand out further than your body filler is going to be, because you don't know how far it's going to spread out. It's going to go where it wants to go, kind of go crossways. This is called cross sanding. Put scratches this way and scratches this the other way. I'm going to kind of bevel these. It's got sharp edges. I'm going to kind of bevel those out. I hope you can see that. Okay, let me get to that. I've scratched this up really well. The body filler's not going to go up that high. Like I said, sand it further than it's going to go. So that's prepped and ready. Got to wipe it off. You don't want dust all over it. I don't have my air compressor blower. I'm just going to blow and wipe this off. I don't prefer Bondo, but it's cheaper. This is good for a Nintendo, but yeah, it's kind of cheaper. But yeah, you can get this at the auto parts store. This is just Bondo brand. And this is the hardener. Yeah, I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to mix it on this. It's, I don't know, it's like, I don't remember the ratio. It's like 4 to 1. But pretty much you just put some, you figure out how much to put in after a while. So it works. This stuff gets hard really quick when you mix it together. So this might be kind of funny because I'm going to have to be rushing in front of the camera. But it's not going to take much for this chip. This is too much, but you want more. I mean, you don't want too little. Here's the hardener. Put the hardener in. This is so small. It's not like a car, so it's hard to put just a little bit. You have to mix it up really good so it's a uniform color. Reddish color, because the hardener's red. It's going to start getting harder right now. So, take the Nintendo. I'm just going to use my finger for something this small. Just got to make sure you get enough on there to be able to sand down. The body filler is on. I got quite a good bit. This should be enough to fix this dent. Every now and then you'll have to sand this down and put on one more coat. I hardly ever have to anymore though, because the first coat isn't going to be enough. One thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take some off this back edge right here where the two halves meet, or the bottom half of the NES meets. You're going to have to cut a little off. I cut it with a razor blade to make sure the two halves fit, because the body filler just seeps over the edge and gets in the way. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to see. It's too small. But you have to cut. I cut it with a razor blade and then fit the two halves together. And then sand and shake this down. Okay, after about 10 minutes, this is dry and getting hard, and it's ready to sand. So I'm going to sand it with 80 grit. It's going to take a lot of sanding, so I'll probably speed this part up. Okay, I've got it all sanded down and it's shaped up and sanded smooth. I went over it with a little bit of 220 grit so the scratches won't be so rough, but I'm just going to put a little bit of this primer on there, and then it'll be ready to sand and paint later after the primer dries. Just a little bit. We don't let it dry. Alright, that's enough primer to coat. And that's how you fix chips on the NES. See if you can see that. Well, yeah, there you go, some shine. So primer's still wet, but after the primer dries, I'll go over everything with 500 grit, and then it will be ready to paint. You didn't think there was dents in the NES console? Well, there is.